Okay, so back in early 2025, I made a bingo prediction card. This was based off of the Arcane Arcade podcast when they were doing this, and so I made one. This is a combination of sort of political and world events, as well as personal stuff for me and stuff I was interested in. So I decided to want to go through this and see what I put down, because I don't remember everything I wrote on this. I pretty much haven't looked on this since around when I made it. So there's going to be a lot here that I legitimately don't remember putting down. I do know there's a number of things that I put down where I know the opposite happened. So we'll see how that goes, and we'll see if I end up getting bingo. I doubt it, to be honest. But we'll find out. And at the end of this, I plan on sort of making a 2026 bingo. So we will see how that goes. And I'm specifically putting this in a video because I want to kind of explain myself and talk about this for a bit, because some of this is kind of hard to quantify, I think. So anyway, I haven't really looked at this before, so, well, since I made it, so let's see what we get. Alright. Okay, I didn't remember that was on here. We'll just go row by row. A CEO or political person is killed. Yes, that happened. I legitimately forgot I put that on there. Okay. Yeah. There will be a really sad PC death in a D&D game. This was for my own home games. And the reason I thought this was because we have not had a major character death that wasn't sort of like a bit planned in advance, or something that was ultimately reversed. Although the one that ultimately reversed, that was still actually very sad. So I was thinking, like, again, unexpected, unplanned, like, oh shit, a character died, for real. And we have not really had that happen. I was predicting it might happen because at the beginning of 2025, we were maybe about halfway through the Dragonlance campaign, which was sort of, like a war campaign with a lot of fighting and stuff. So I thought it might happen because of that campaign. But we finished that campaign, and we're now doing Strixhaven. We also were going to do Curse of Strahd. Right. 2025 is when we did Curse of Strahd, and I was like, someone might die in Curse of Strahd. And technically, someone did, but it was, again, there was a story reason as to why we were able to sort of not have them permanently die, and it wasn't really super sad either. I mean, it was more sort of like a plot hook, I guess. So, but now I'm running Strixhaven, and which I don't expect people to die in that, and then we're also doing another homebrew game, which someone could die, but yeah. So, point is, no, this did not happen. I thought it might happen this year. I don't think it will happen in 2026. Because that said, when I make my 2026 bingo, I don't want to just repeat things for the 2025 bingo. Like, I don't want to just put this exact thing down again or tweak it very slightly. I'm not going to do that. But let's see. Israel still be taking... Yes, this is happening. There's the whole bullshit Trump ceasefire, which is not a ceasefire. It's complete garbage. It's just Israel's still destroying Gaza. It's a giant mess, and it probably will continue to be a mess. I don't have any hope for this. I wish I did, but I don't. I will have not moved. This is an important one for me because back in 2025, early 2025, I had been like 2 years without a job. And so I was worried I might not be able to afford to live where I am. And I was predicting that will have not been the case. And it is not the case. I'm still living here, and I now have a job, finally, that I actually kind of like. Relatively speaking, I don't really like any job, obviously, but, like, so that's nice. One of the new MCU movies I will like while most others don't. I can't check this because I haven't seen any of the 2025 MCU movies. Because what was there? There was, was it just Fantastic Four? No. Wasn't there something else? Oh, jeez, I don't even know anymore. Whatever, I'll be honest, I kind of feel like I sort of stopped watching MCU stuff. Oh, wait, was Thunderbolts this year? No, wait, Thunderbolts and Captain America were this year too, right? Were they? Yeah, I don't remember. I didn't watch any of them, so I can't comment on them. If I have a guess, because from what I understand, if I'm right, that it was the Captain America movie, Thunderbolts, and Fantastic Four, The Thunderbolts movie was one where people were like surprisingly positive on it. They were like, "Wow, we didn't expect this to be pretty good, but it is pretty good." And the Fantastic Four movie, people said like it's pretty good, but that's kind of it, and they wanted it to be better. Whereas the Captain America one, everyone says it's just flat out bad. So if it were to be the case, it would be the Captain America movie, but I haven't seen it, and honestly, from what people have said about it, yeah, I probably won't think it's that great, so, anyway. All the major woke games will do well. I mean, because this is kind of a tongue-in-cheek one, because again, all the idiot reactionaries are just like, oh, this game is woke, so it's going to do terribly. And they always talk about like the big budget stuff that does well anyway, so that was kind of the thing about this. I think I don't really feel like there were any major 2025 like woke hysteria games or whatever. I mean, there was like Ghost of Yotei, but like which did fine. And I feel like that's kind of it. Like, I mean, I guess Clair Obscura, but people are weirdly trying to claim that it's like all white people, and it's like, so it's actually not woke, even though it's like very obviously based off of like European French aesthetic, which is like, okay, yeah, like whatever. I'm gonna check this just because I want the anti-woke people to be mad because they deserve it. My 2025 album of the year will be completely unexpected. I legitimately forgot that I put this down. I was trying to think of, what am I going to predict for 2026? And I was thinking of putting this down for 2026 because I thought I hadn't put it for 2025. Because here's the thing, my album of the year is kind of tied, and between the Invent Animate and Silent Planet EP, Bloom in Heaven, and Hit It by Villanova. See, the Invent Animate and Silent Planet thing, like, that's not unexpected, really. But it's an EP, right? And for me, I usually don't separate the two, even though I know most people do. Technically, it's not an album of the year, right? So, whereas the Villanova Hit It, that was completely unexpected, especially by the point of being the beginning of 2025, right? That's the idea, is that... And yeah, I didn't know Villanova existed at the beginning of 2025, so I will check this, actually. 2025 will be a good year, good for me, bad for the world. So this space came from how I felt about 2020. Because 2020, a lot of bad stuff happened for, the general world events and situations, but for me, personally, I actually had a lot of good things happen in 2020, and I, overall, from my personal life, kind of was like, yeah, 2020 was actually pretty nice for me. Someone's DMing me on Discord. And I predicted that 2025 would be similar, and I would say, yeah, I think it was. Definitely bad for the world. Bad for the US, especially. But, yeah, and the main thing for me, I would say, is that it's because I got a new job, like I said earlier, and that's sort of put it up over the edge in that regard. Okay. So yes, I'm going to select that. New System of a Down single, no album. This was banking off of the whole Linkin Park revival from 2024. I was guessing there'd be another sort of little kind of revival thing from like nu metal days. I was wrong. I predicted System of a Down. I know that they're still touring and stuff. Well, I don't know if they're actively doing it, but they play some shows every now and then. So it's not a complete ass poll, but yeah, it didn't happen anyway. California's fires aren't that bad. Again, okay, so this is the especially ironic one because literally like the week after I made this bingo, there was the huge like LA fire thing. So, oops, got that one wrong. Again, the thing is, I said California. If I said like, Bay Area or Northern California where I live, then yeah, I would say that is largely true. That it wasn't bad at all, but unfortunately the LA stuff happened, so yeah. New Loathe album, Be Softer and Not My Thing. Nope, we got a Loathe sound, a Loathe single, a track, which I'm still not 100% sure how I feel about that song, to be honest. But, yeah, we will see how that ends up going, I guess. So for when the actual album releases, which hopefully should finally actually be 2026. The main thing about it is that, what am I trying to say? Is that, oh, my brain doesn't work. Apparently when they're playing live shows, Loathe is playing a new song that has not been released. So it really seems like they're going to release it finally in 2026. I'm so waiting for it to happen, but we'll find out. Anyway, Trump's approval end up in the 30s. Yes, I know there's some polls that have him like in the 40s still, but most of them pretty much are in like the 30s. This was a fairly safe bet, to be honest. The main thing was that people saying, "Oh wow, he's actually like pretty popular among like young people or something in like the early 2025 after the election." I'm just like, that's not lasting. No way, no way, no way. And yet, did not. So, yeah, stupid political shit was the free space because of course it is. A family vlogger will be arrested. This was going off of Ruby Frankie, was that her name? That kind of had this whole thing. I don't think this is true. I mean, okay, I'm sure there was somebody, right? But in terms of like big, famous, kind of like well-known channel scandals, I don't think this is true. Maybe I'm missing something, but yeah. So I'm gonna not check this. New Superman movie is good. I have not seen it, but pretty much everyone has said that it's at minimum pretty good. So I feel safe to check this off, even though I have not seen it myself. To be honest, right now, we're doing better than I thought I would. I didn't expect it to do this well. I expected this to get, like, maybe way worse. Social Security will not be defunded. That is difficult to say. Here's the thing. It wasn't, like, flat out defunded in, like, a bill. But it was fucked with, and there were people that lost their payments, which is like kind of equivalent, or at least their payments were late. I don't know. I'm gonna not check it. I'm gonna be harsh and not check it. I think that's hard to say. An important piece of infrastructure in the U.S. will collapse. I'm expecting again for this. My idea was like a bridge would collapse or something, or like part of a major like highway would, or for like. And I don't think I don't think this happened, like, at all, so I'm gonna not check that either. Okay, next. Legends EA will come out, people will hate it, I'll think it's decent. Yeah, I think that actually is about correct exactly. The discourse online about this game is that it's so disappointing and there's so many bad things, and oh my god, the windows look terrible, and it's just like, I don't know, that stuff is not that important compared to, is the game overall enjoyable? And my answer to that is, yes-ish. And, again, I have major issues with the game, but I do think that it's an overall positive experience. But I like Legends Arceus noticeably more. The battle system, for one, is just one of those things where, like, at first I was like not sure how to feel about it, and then after a bit I was like, actually, I think this is kind of cool. But now, honestly, I'm kind of like really annoyed with it, and I don't like it that much. So, I will check this. Yeah. Oh, man, we might get a bingo. Mitch McConnell dies. That did not happen. Sad to say. So I cannot check that. A stable country undergoes a large political revolution. I don't think so. Because my thought for this was something like, when I say stable country, I mean one that like people generally think of as like, pretty well off. It's not like some random, country in Africa that, people are like never heard of before or anything. I was thinking like a world famous country that people don't think of as being like politically volatile. Like in my head, I was thinking like India, right? I wasn't like specifically like deciding to say India, but that was kind of what I was thinking of. I don't think this happened. Maybe I'm forgetting something, but I don't think so. Yeah, like, I know that, was the South Korea thing, was that this year? Jeez, I don't even remember. Even if it was this year, it was unsuccessful, so I'm gonna say no, that's not gonna be checked. Trump and Musk will have a giant fight, and it will be hilarious. Yeah, I'm gonna say this is true. To be honest, it was a bit less of a fight than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was gonna get a lot worse. Then again, I mean, Elon did just say that Trump was in the Epstein files back before that was all a thing. So yeah, I'll accept it. Really bad hurricane in the south. No. The hurricane season this year was weirdly quiet. To be fair, the really bad hurricane, it's like, this is one of those that you could put every year and you're going to be right, eventually. So I'm not going to put it for 2026. But yeah, that did not happen. And then no Sleep Token album. Yeah, okay. So, but I guess I'm not getting bingo here. This was my kind of bold prediction. There was so much talk about Sleep Token having a new album, and I legitimately thought at the beginning of the year that no, they're going to hold out another year and ride off the success of oh god, what was the name? Take Me Back to Eden. But no, I mean, obviously we have a new album that came out in the first half of the year, even. So yeah, that's definitely not true. And again, they had their first actual full teasers of like the first song, Emergence. That was what, like February, maybe even still January. I don't know. It was pretty early, so that was definitely one where it's like, well, cool, I'm wrong. New live action remake of a 2000s animated show. I was thinking when I made this prediction of like the Netflix like Avatar: The Last Airbender thing, right? So I don't think this is true. Maybe there's something smaller that this is true, but I don't think so. I don't know. I can't think of it, so I'm gonna say that's not true. Huge scandal involving a well-liked gaming YouTuber / Twitch streamer. Okay, so the idea of this, because I'm sure that people are gonna say there's some scandal involving someone from this, but I was thinking like big, like I was thinking like someone like Markiplier level, like, maybe not him specifically, but like that was what I was thinking in terms of like, oh man, someone that's very well respected and very well liked, and like even like normal internet people know who this person is gonna have some big scandal. And no, I'm going to say that did not happen. Again, I maybe am forgetting something. I don't think so. But yeah, so there we go. So how many is that? That is 11. Well, not counting the free space, 10. So 10 out of 24 for my predictions. I could have gotten a bingo. But I did not. I almost did the Sleep Token album thing. That was what I remembered that I put down. That was like obviously false. So I was like, well, cool. But okay, now let's try to make things for 2026. If you want to make a bingo thing here, by the way, this website, it's called Bingo Baker, so you can make your own. Thank you to Marion from the Arcane Arcade Discord, who kind of like through her bingo stuff with their games made me realize that, oh, this is a thing. And I'm just gonna go, and I'm gonna try to put some stuff here. Again, I'm gonna try to not just repeat myself. I'm gonna try to do a mix of, again, political stuff, personal life things, and things I'm interested in. I'm going to start with I'm going to try not to do the same exact things that we did for the last one, right? Let's do some world news stuff first. I'm going to piggyback off of something from the previous one. Trump's approval will be in the 20s. I'm going to say that's a good enough prediction for this. And the reason why I'm predicting this is official economic recession, TM. The idea of this is to say that these are going to be related, I think. And actually, here, last kind of thing, one other thing associated with this, I'm going to say image or video of Trump doing sexual things released. I'm not going to say released. I guess, no, I'll just leave it at that. Basically, I'll say leaked. Again, I'm tying this in with Epstein, obviously. I'm going to say this. If it's redacted, that still counts. Okay, this is my prediction in the thing, if it still counts. But it has to be clearly him. I don't want it to be a thing that's completely blacked out, but the caption says, oh, that's what this picture is. No, it has to be something where the picture is this thing. I'm going to say it's going to come out. I'm going to say these two things are going to drop him down into the 20s. And, okay, another event, I'm going to say... I want to predict something about Venezuela, but I'm not 100% sure what specifically does. I don't want to say boots on the ground, because I don't necessarily think that will be true. I think the U.S. might bomb them. But the thing is, like a day or two ago, there was already this thing of, like, that the U.S. might have actually bombed Venezuela, but there was a thing where, like, Trump said that they did, and the CIA said that they did, but that Venezuela themselves said that they didn't. So it's like, huh? So I don't know what's going on with that. But it's kind of one of those things where I don't really know what to say. And I don't want to say, like, goes to war with Venezuela, because it's like we basically already are doing that. So, okay, here's what I'm going to say. Maduro survives an attempted assassination. And when I say attempted assassination, I don't necessarily literally mean, like, SEAL Team 6, like, assassination. I mean, this could be, like, the U.S. tries to, like, bomb his house or wherever he lives. I don't know. But it could, basically, an attempt is, he is attempted to die, to be killed, but he will survive. I'm gonna guess that he survives. Because I've seen people suggest that, predict that Maduro will end up fleeing Venezuela. I'm not gonna put that on there. So I'm going to say that. I think that'll be fair. And let me try to think of one more kind of political political history kind of thing. Okay, I know. Dems win House and Senate, despite being still lame. Yeah. I think that the midterm elections are going to be an absolute blowout. I think the Democrats are going to win the House and the Senate, even though the Senate's unlikely, just mathematically speaking. And the thing of them still being lame, I'm saying, like, as a party overall. There's going to be some rising star candidates, like probably Mamdani, that are going to also get elected to the House or the Senate. More likely the House. But the overall Democratic Party is going to be very uninspiring, very boring, and they're not going to really improve because they've never improved. And again, they've been lame for a long, long time. So that's my little prediction with that, I guess. Okay. What is next? Let's see if we can move away from politics for a little bit. Oh, I know. I'm going to do something different for my natural disaster one. Like, I had, not bad wildfires, but bad hurricane. I'm going to do something completely different. I'm going to say 7.0 plus earthquake on mainland US. Yeah. This is a complete crapshoot, right? At least the hurricanes, at least the wildfires, that sort of has a thing based off of, like, climate change and seasonal variations. An earthquake is a crapshoot. Yeah, I'm going to predict this, because I don't think there wasn't there a decently strong earthquake that was actually, like, off the coast of, like, far north California last year? I don't know. Okay, I'm going to amend this, actually. That does notable damage. And the whole thing of notable damage, that's me just saying that, like, it basically can't be something that was like, oh, it's going to be in, like, the middle of nowhere and, like, nobody... Sure, there was an earthquake, but, like, it did nothing. I'm not saying we need, like, LA to fall into the ocean, but, like, it needs to be, like, this is, we've declared a state of emergency kind of a situation, right? That's what I'm saying. I don't want this to happen, obviously, but I'm going to... This is my Hail Mary prediction... that there's going to be some kind of fairly bad earthquake in the U.S. Okay, let's see. I'm trying to think of what else to do that could be sort of science-y, something like this. I know that, again, there's the Artemis mission with the moon not landing, but going around the lunar orbit. Which, that'll be impressive. But again, that's sort of one of those things where it's like it's already scheduled, so it feels weird to predict it. I mean, I could predict that it gets delayed again in 2027, which I could, but I don't know. I don't really feel like doing that. See, I was thinking, like, oh, a major city could run out of water, but I'm like, didn't Tehran already kind of do that? So that doesn't really work. Yeah, you know what? Discovery of new climate change tipping point. So, for a lot of people, you may have heard of this with climate change tipping points. Basically, there are a number of things in the world where based on how as the rising temperature continues, there'll be a moment where there will be sort of a threshold that's passed, and that will cause a thing to sort of happen that can't really easily be reversed. I know one of these is the Atlantic Ocean current is one. There's like the jet stream, something with the jet stream is another. There's the permafrost. There's the coral die-offs or whatever. And I'm not saying the event's going to happen. I'm going to say we're going to discover, oh wait, there's another thing that could happen that we didn't think was going to happen before. So that's my guess for that. Oh, here's one. It will be 110 plus degrees Fahrenheit at home. I'm gonna guess there will be a day, a moment where it will be over 110 degrees Fahrenheit at my home. It's usually over 100, at least a little bit, during the summer. And so that's not really a prediction. 110? I think it was that like 2 or 3 years ago, briefly. So this is the hottest temperature I've ever experienced was 113. That actually is like the record. If you look up where I live on Wikipedia, it will show 113 is the hottest temperature ever. So that's what I'm gonna guess. This year was actually not that hot, surprisingly. We actually had like an entire month of like the entire month of July was like in the 70s, which is weird. August and September were hotter, but even then they weren't. I don't think they really went over like 100 that much. So yeah. I'm gonna predict it's gonna be hot. Okay, let's do some sort of video game stuff. I want to do something for the new Pokemon games. Because again, there was the leak that we had about the new Pokemon games, Generation 10. I won't talk about them just in case people want to not be spoiled on it. But, yeah. What do I say about it? Because I feel like what I said about ZA is probably a safe bet. But I don't want to repeat that. You know what? Here's what I'm going to say. And this is a pretty bold prediction. I will really like Pokemon Gen 10. This is a bold prediction, honestly, because from what I do know about the leaks, they're doing something. Oh, excuse me. They're doing something that I am hesitant. I am hesitant about how it will work. So this is a pretty bold prediction. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to say I will really like Pokemon Gen 10. Notice I'm not saying that I think they'll be really good. I'm saying I really like it. That's different. There's, again, people already talk about the objective quality or something. I'm talking like my subjective experience will be really good. I subjectively had a really good time with Scarlet and Violet. I acknowledge that it runs unacceptably bad, and there are some notable problems with it, but I had a really good time with Scarlet and Violet. So, that's my take. Honestly, Gen 10 is such a... I don't know. I feel like if Gen 10 is like has Scarlet and Violet level issues that are like things that you could clip out and be like, look how bad this is, it's not going to be like irreversible damage, but I think it will be a notable like this is not good. And there will be like people already are negative about Pokemon. If Gen 10 fails in that regard, it will be like a further blow, like a notable step down that will be very hard to recover from, because it's on the Switch 2. Almost certainly get Switch 2 exclusive. They've had 4 years to develop since Scarlet and Violet, which they haven't had 4 years since like Black and White. So they kind of don't have an excuse anymore. Like I was pointing to the fact, like, look, they've had these 3-year gaps between all these releases. It makes sense that as the game's scope increases, they're going to sort of run out of time to polish things. It's been 4 years. I don't think they have the excuse anymore. And so that's kind of, where I stand with that. More video game stuff. You know what? I'm gonna throw this out there. Xenosaga Remake announcement. I'm not gonna say it's released, but I'm gonna say that it'll be announced. Here, just to make this a little bit better, I'm just gonna say announced. There. The Xenoblade Future Redeemed had basically confirmed that the two universes are like directly linked to each other, and so I've been predicting they will be a Xenosaga remake or remaster, especially since Xenosaga is not like was basically not finished, right? If people know the story about that. So I'm predicted that they will have some sort of remake or remaster with Xenosaga to sort of finish up the story a bit and also directly tie it in more with the Xenoblade stuff. I know people have been kind of talking about, oh, maybe we're going to get Xenoblade 4. I don't think we're going to get that yet. If you had me predict, here's my thinking. I'm thinking the Xenosaga remake will either be late 2026 or early 2027, but it will be announced this year. And then my harebrained prediction is that the next Xenoblade game will be called Xenoblade Saga, not Xenoblade Chronicles, and it will be probably then 2028. That's my prediction. But we'll see. I'm going to say that that's announced. In terms of more video game stuff, let's do... You know what? A new Mario RPG. This could be a new Mario and Luigi game, could be a new Paper Mario game, could be something brand new, but still like RPG related. Whatever. I'm going to say that's a thing. Kind of a random throw out there. I have no prediction on this at all, really, but sure, I'm going to say that that's true. Let's do at least one more kind of nutty prediction here. You know what? I know. New mainline Spyro game. Let's predict that, yeah. Because I don't think... Because the Reignited trilogy definitely was well received. And people were really hype about that. And so, I'm honestly surprised they haven't capitalized on that already. So I'm going to say that, you know what, yeah. Spyro is one of those game series that, like, was... The original Spyro the Dragon was one of the first games I ever played. But I never owned a PS1, so I never really experienced those games. But I had, like, the Game Boy Advance games growing up. I had, like, Hero's Tale, that Enter the Dragonfly game, which was not good. I played the Legend of Spyro games. So for me, Spyro is always that kind of, like, background thing that I have respect for being one of the very first games I ever played. And I think Hero's Tale is legitimately a pretty good game. Yeah, so that's... I'm going to predict, yeah, we're going to get a new Spyro game. Gonna do some... Let's do some music ones. See, because I don't really know what to predict for... You know what? New Slipknot album. There. That's my that's my new metal revival kind of thing, going off System of a Down. Slipknot... Actually, you know what? No. I'm gonna go opposite of this. Someone leaves Slipknot. That's what I'm predicting. Yeah, it could be... yeah, if someone's gonna leave Slipknot... If I want to be really daring, I'm going to say Slipknot disbands. I don't think that's going to happen, but I'm going to say someone leaves. I don't know who, but yeah, I'll predict that. Because I think an album is actually kind of likely, to be honest. I think this is more of an out there prediction, so I'm going to say that yeah, sure, why not? Let's do... What are some other, like, funky music things I can do? It's hard to say. Because, again, like, I wanted to do the one that I had with the Album of the Year one. I was, like, literally thinking of this yesterday, being like, oh, that'd be a good one for me to predict, but, no. Yeah, I really don't know what to say for this more, because I feel like it's either stuff that I have absolutely nothing to latch onto, or it's something that I think is kind of is very, very, very likely, and so it feels kind of cheap. Like, very likely we're going to have a Silent Planet album, very likely we're going to have a Loathe album. You know what? Okay, here we go. My of the year is not Loathe or Silent Planet. There we go. There, that'll be my prediction. Again, those are my two favorite bands. I'm going to say somehow my album of the year is neither of them. I think this is very unlikely. But why not? um, let's see. Some life predictions, I think, for me. You know what? I will get married. I am engaged, but we didn't have any super strict plan of like, we're going to get married at this time or this day or whatever. We don't have that planned yet, but I'm going to say that by the end of 2026, it will have happened. Considering our laziness, it totally might not happen, but I'm going to say it will. What else am I going to say? I will still be working at here. Maybe I shouldn't put this in a public thing of where exactly I'm working. I will have the same job by the end of the year. Okay, so I'm gonna say the job that I have now, that I got hired back in November. I'm gonna say I still have it by the end of the year. A little bit of a safe prediction, maybe. I don't expect to get fired, but I mean, layoffs could be a thing, especially with again official economic recession. TM. But yeah. D&D. I want to do something D&D related. I'm just not sure what to put. I know what I'll put. No new major D&D campaign. Okay. The point of this is to say that I don't think our major campaigns, I don't think they're going to end this year. I think Strixhaven's going to continue throughout 2026. I'm going to predict that the campaign that Julie is DMing is not going to end either. The Strixhaven one is a little bit unsure of, honestly. I could see that one lasting. I could see it going... I'm going to say it's going to last longer than a year, but we started in, September. So... But I'm not sure if we will finish by the end of 2026. We might. I'm going to guess we're not. And I don't think Julius is going to either, because we started that pretty... we started that also, October, November-ish. Or more like October. And, yeah. That... what am I trying to say? We're definitely not going to finish that. And again, I don't think there's going to be any PC death or anything, so... I don't know. What are some other... See, this is the problem now. We're starting to run out of ideas, and I don't want to just sit here and be dumb and waste your time. Let's go with... Oh! Avengers Doomsday will be legitimately bad. I don't want this to be true. But when I say legitimately bad, I mean, worse, because a lot of times I see people saying, oh, Marvel movies are bad or whatever, or, even the Disney Plus shows are bad, and it's a lot of them aren't bad, they're just sort of, fine. And, when that's all they are, it's sort of okay, whatever, right? People say Quantumania was, a truly bad MCU movie, and I'm like, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't good, but it was, it was okay. It's better. I don't think it's the worst MCU film. I think Iron Man 2 is worse than Quantumania. I think Ant-Man 1 is worse than Quantumania. But I'm gonna say that Doomsday is gonna be legitimately bad. And that sucks. But that's my prediction. I'm gonna say it's legitimately bad. The Mandalorian movie, that's coming out this year, right? I think so. And then there's also, isn't Ahsoka Season 2 this year? Do I want to do a prediction? I'm going to do a bit of a bold prediction. I will love Ahsoka Season 2. Others will hate it. That's what I'm going to say. I think Ahsoka Season 1 was, pretty good. Whereas I think... My opinion is that it's, pretty good. I think the common opinion is that it's like just like meh. I'm going to say that the common opinion for season 2 is going to be worse, but my opinion of season 2 is going to be better. I'm going to say they're going to make some decisions that people are going to say, no, this is terrible and horrible. How could you do this? But I'm going to like it. Yeah, that's my prediction for that. And actually, going off of that, I will find a new show I really love. I have been not watching shows really the last couple years. I've watched very few shows. Back in like from 2019 to 2022, I was watching like 30 plus shows a year. And then 2024, I kind of fell off a bit, and then 2025, I watched very little. So I've been really not watching very much. To be honest, I legitimately think that we had this sort of like kind of like golden age of like animated TV from like 2018 to 2022, and then after that, it's been like kind of not great. With a few exceptions, obviously, with like Fiona and Cake and stuff like that. But yeah, that's what I'm gonna predict. Is that I'm gonna find a new show. When I say new, I mean new to me. I'm not saying brand new. I could watch something that's old, but it's new to me for the first time, and I will end up really liking it. Okay. Other things. This is where we get to difficulties. What to choose, what to do. Oh. I'm struggling on these last two now. Let's see. Let's go back to politics. Here's something I'm going to do. Joe Biden dies. Yeah. I'm not gonna say anything about Trump dying or not. I'm not gonna put it on here. I don't want to manifest it either direction. I'm not. Well, okay. Let me rephrase that. I don't want to put it on my bingo because I don't want it to. Therefore, I don't want to predict either way because then I don't want it to manifest either agreeing with me that he's not going to die or saying no because you said he's going to die. He's not going to. I just don't want to put it on here. I'm not gonna put it out. I'm gonna say Biden will die. I do think it will be the ultimate irony if Trump dies before Biden. But yeah. Oh, actually, no. I had this idea before. I want to put this in. Candace Owens falls off hard. Candace Owens is like really, out there with her conspiracies about, Charlie Kirk and all that stuff, and people are really eating it up. I'm going to predict that she's going to have a few too many missteps. Like she had the whole thing where she said, "Oh, I met with Erica Kirk and things were actually fine," and people were mad at her. I'm going to say she's going to do a few more of those to the point where people are going to be pissed at her and they're going to drop it. And the thing is, the right-wing news media ecosystem, those people are just falling apart anyway. So this is my prediction of that. I'm not going to predict anything else in terms of who rises, who falls, or anything. I don't know. Like everyone's talking about, oh, Nick Fuentes is going to rise up. I mean, he will in like cultural prominence somewhat, but I don't think he's going to get as high as people think just because of how just batshit insane he is. And I know like people, that's insane to think of like, oh, well, Trump got that far. And it's like, yeah, but we are in this backlash. We are in this moment of like leftist backlash. And so I just don't see, I don't know. I don't want to predict anything I read, but the Candace Owens thing, I feel like I can fairly confidently predict. I just need two more. What do we want to do? This is the most exciting thing that anyone's ever witnessed here to this video as I'm trying to struggle for these last two things. I'm gonna say China develops a new medicine that the U.S. rejects. So this is, I'm trying to simplify this, but basically I'm going to say China's going to develop some like cure for something, some legitimately like very impressive like medical tech, and the U.S. is going to flat out say like, no, you didn't. This thing doesn't work. It's bad and it sucks. And it's going to be this big sort of like fight between those two for that to work there. So yeah. What's any more? And it'll be something that's like definitely like in the news. Again, not like a minor thing. And what else do I want to put? Oh boy. Well, no, I'm not going to put that down because I just realized that I had a thought, but like, no, that thought that thought basically was like, if I don't want to have something where, oh, if one of these things is true, that will lead to another thing being true as well. Like, for example, I had this thought of like, oh, I'll see like some of my friends who I haven't seen in a few years, like I'll see them again. But I'm like, well, if I have my wedding, they're going to be there. So that's sort of a cheat. Let's do. You know what? This is a complete crapshoot. Someone from my high school gets weirdly famous. This is specifically going off of the... Apparently, okay, so someone from my high school is actually on, like, the current, or at least last season of Survivor? Like, which... Okay, but I... So, I'm not counting her, obviously. But... someone else. I don't know. The complete crap show. I'm running out of ideas here. Oh, and I'll do the thing here, so... There. Stupid political shit in the free space. Alright, so that's going to be my bingo for 2026. Some of this is definitely more of a reach than others. I don't know. I'll probably think of other stuff later to be like, oh, that's actually way better. But it's what I got right now. So, there you go. It's something, I guess. Who knows? Alright. I'm going to stop this recording. Woohoo. Hope you enjoyed and didn't find this the most boring, mind-numbing thing ever in the world. Bye!